Move over feces-covered streets of San Francisco, Portland is stealing your thunder with a slow-motion train wreck that is careening off the rails with homelessness, drugs, and crime. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. We've talked a lot about California's problems with homelessness, drugs, crime, and human feces. But it's not alone. Oregon has its own fair share of homelessness, drugs, crime, and human feces. The only difference is, where California spread its problems among several cities, Oregon packs it all into one glorious package: Portland. As one Portland resident put it, walking around, it's hard to not notice used needles, nudity, human feces, and the stench of urine. And is it worth all that for the nudity? So how did it get like this? Well, Oregon has enacted a lot of progressive policies, mostly because of Portland. It legalized homeless encampments in public spaces, decriminalized all drugs, including cocaine and heroin, and Portland cut the police budget by millions of dollars in the wake of George Floyd's death. And as everyone expected, Portland became a utopia, free from not only crime, but pain and greed. Oh wait, I misread that. It became a nightmare.
A violent year for the city of Portland.
It's tripled to quadrupled the amount of violence from what we saw in 2018, 2019.
This is Portland, Oregon, 2 years after decriminalizing personal amounts of hard drugs. The open drug use, the deaths, worse than ever.
Every day in Portland, Oregon's Multnomah County, more than 6,000 people are experiencing homelessness.
Man, all the progressives in Portland are going to need to update those yard signs of theirs to say, in this house, we believe you should do drugs in a tent somewhere else. Come on, man, you're driving down a property value. Now, Portland is backpedaling on a lot of its policies. But on others, it's doubling down. I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. Now, despite everything, Portland is doubling down on some of its progressive policies. Let's first take a look at how it's now tackling homelessness. Although sadly, more often than not, in progressive Portland, the homeless tackle you. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Oregon has one of the highest rates of homelessness. California has a higher homelessness rate, but between 2020 to 2022, Oregon homeless rates grew faster. You know something's wrong when people in California step in human feces on the sidewalk and say, well, at least I'm not in Portland. In response to growing homelessness, Oregon approved $200 million earlier this year for homelessness and housing. It's supposed to go toward rehousing 1,200 households and creating more than 600 new shelter beds by the end of the year. Now, you might think $200 million might be a little overblown for just that, but don't worry. Portland totally won't misuse its share of the money. I mean, if anyone knows how to spend money wisely, it's a city full of health nuts that spend $8 for an organic farmer's market cucumber. So, poor planning seems to be the name of the game in Portland. Portland City Council now requires all camping ordinances to be objectively reasonable. Objectively reasonable? To whom? Because I think it's objectively terrible they've let homelessness get to the point that people are forced to camp out on the streets like they're in line to get tickets to the Phantom Menace. Things were different in this country before 9/11. Given how a lot of people aren't too happy with the homeless making camps all over the place, Portland City Council made an ordinance that barred camping on public property from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., among other restrictions. What it doesn't ban is camping in non-restricted areas at night from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. So the homeless are still there, they just have to dismantle and reassemble their tents every night. But don't worry, the mentally ill and addicted homeless are definitely known for following the rules and not leaving stuff behind. The ban is already in place, but as of this recording, there are still reports of homeless encampments, and neither the police nor the city are enforcing the ordinance. According to the Portland government, enforcement will be phased in, starting first with educating the homeless on what the ordinance would entail. During this period, police have been instructed not to issue citations for violations of the ordinance. Meanwhile, some homeless are probably thinking, why not? Please throw me in jail. I'd love a warm, safe place to stay. But tackling homelessness is just the tip of the iceberg for Portland. I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. A lot of things are fueling Portland's homelessness crisis. One of them is its drug epidemic. As it turns out, Oregon's progressive harm reduction policies may have made things even worse. It's kind of like how turning every restaurant into an all-you-can-eat buffet wouldn't be the best solution for fighting obesity. Back in 2020, Oregon residents voted for Measure 110, also known as the Drug Addiction Treatment and Recovery Act. It decriminalized even hard drugs and made punishment of outdoor use very lenient. If you're caught by police taking drugs, you just get fined up to $100, and that can be waived if you agree to go to an addiction recovery center.
Hi there, put that knife away, please. What are you smoking?
Betty.
Okay, just powder fentanyl?
Yeah.
Is that what you drop right there?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
Can you pick that up so someone else doesn't find it or a kid doesn't find that, please?
Under Measure 110, Bayer writes a $100 ticket. The fine will be waived if this man phones a treatment hotline.
Hey, man. No, number to call in the back for treatment. Right on. Good luck to you.
Do you think he'll call?
Most likely, yeah. About a 50-50 shot, yeah.
50-50? More like 1 out of 100. Audits found that very few drug offenders even bothered calling the treatment hotlines, and only about 1% completed the paperwork to waive the fine. Gee, I wonder why fentanyl addicts have a hard time remembering things. Now, overdoses have gone way up. In 2020, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Oregon had the second highest rate of substance use disorder and ranked last for access to treatment. The rise of fentanyl has made things worse. So what's Oregon's solution? Why, hand out tinfoil and straws for fentanyl smokers, as well as glass pipes and snorting kits. It's kind of like parents that let their kids drink at home and say, if you're going to do it, at least I know you'll be safe. Only, instead of Smirnoff Ice, it's the leading cause of death in Americans under 50. Your parents are so cool, Portland. Now there's a kind of twisted logic to why they did this. Portland also had a long-running needle exchange program. The idea was that by handing out taxpayer-funded drug kits, people will have a safer way to consume drugs and a chance to get access to treatment services. And it seemed to work. Visits to county clinics dropped more than 60% since 2019. But it wasn't because people got off drugs. It's because they started doing fentanyl, which is smoked, not injected. So obviously the lesson to take from this is that we got to make smoking fentanyl safer. Not everyone's on board with that. Democrat Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler said he was adamantly opposed and that it would result in greater risk to public safety for those who simply want to enjoy our city without walking through a cloud of toxic smoke. That's literally the only thing they have over California. Given all the negative press, at least one county has since reversed those plans. But toxic smoke isn't the only thing people have to worry about in Portland. If fentanyl doesn't kill you, there's a good chance some criminal will. Not even government officials are safe. A Japanese diplomat was shoved to the ground while visiting Portland. This is the worst accosting of a Japanese official by a deranged American since George Bush threw up in the Japanese Prime Minister's lap. Sure, Portland may not be the most dangerous city compared to others, but crime is definitely rising. Shootings have more than tripled since 2019. And there's out-of-control car theft and retail theft. So much so that many businesses are leaving, at least from the city center. You know a place is shady when Walmart doesn't want to do business there. The people of Walmart think pants are optional and underwear is for losers, yet they have too much class to be seen shopping in Portland. Even Democrat City Commissioner Mingus Mapps admitted you don't have to watch Fox News to look around Portland and say this is not cool. It's no wonder that thousands are fleeing. Those who already fled are lucky. Many aren't even able to sell their properties to flee. Homeless camps across the street really don't attract prospective homeowners. On the bright side, business is way up for signs that say, in this house, we believe you should do drugs in a tent somewhere else. Come on, man, you're driving down our property value. So what do you think about the current state of Portland? Leave your comments below. And remember that we rely mainly on direct support from viewers like you. If you want to help us deliver nonpartisan news, all it takes is as little as $1 per episode over on our crowdfunding website, Patreon. Visit patreon.com/America Uncovered for more. Click the link below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.